Hey everybody, it's your girl Nefarious, and today we're going to sew the Benny Mini backpack. The Benny Mini measures about 11 inches tall, 8 inches wide, and about 4 inches in diameter. If you're looking for the full-size Benny, make sure you're checking out my friend Suspicious Lefty's channel because she's going to walk you through making the full-size version. Nefarious is taking you through the mini version. So without further ado, let's go right on in and get the Benny Mini started. I'll be making the Benny Mini, and right off the bat, I'm going to tell you you're going to need 2 sets of 40-inch webbing, 2 sliders, 2 rectangle rings, 2 3-inch measured webbing bits, 1 7-inch webbing bit, 2 zippers. You're going to need your back panel and your main panel that goes to that, your front panel and your main panel that goes to that, binding. Then you're going to need your side panel and side lining, your bottom gusset and your bottom gusset lining. You're going to have 2 pockets that we're going to turn into a zipper, and so you're going to want a zipper to go with that, and a zipper tape to go with that, and a zipper. And then you're going to have your 2 exterior zipper gussets, your 2 gusset or zipper linings, and the zipper tape to go with that. For this tutorial, I will be using primarily double-sided tape, a marking tool, scissors, a ruler, and a lighter. So let's jump right in. So right off the bat, we're going to be looking at the back panel. I want my 2 rectangle rings, and I want my 2 3-inch webbing. So I'm going to slide my rectangle rings on, and I'm going to fold them in half. I've got my clips here. So what I'm looking at is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I am going to go ahead, maybe 1.25 inches. I'm going to set this on. 1.25 inches is where I'm lining that bottom corner, and it's 1.25 inches this way from the side edge there. And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. All right. So lining up my edge here. 1.25 inches, perfect, and snapping that on. Then what we are going to do is from the top, you're going to measure over 1 inch. You're going to attach that. And you're going to do it again over here. Attach that. So we've got that already going. And then you're going to have your handle. So the handle, I will just literally sew right on top of that. So it will look like this. So this will be going to the side. So just kind of recapping, the 2 main webbing straps are 1 inch from the center. The handle is literally on top of those webbing straps. And then the rectangle rings are on their webbing about 1.25 inches from the sides. So I'm going to set that to the side, waiting for our next job. Now we're going to prepare our zipper gusset. I put 1/8 inch double-sided tape. I have marked my centers. So we're doing this just like we normally do with all of our zipper gussets. I'm going to line my centers up, plop this down, and just kind of match the edge of the zipper tape up with the edge of the zipper gusset panel. All right, and now that is ready to be put to the side, ready for the next project. I'm going to take one of my main linings. It's probably going to be the back. Finding the center from the top, I'm going to measure 4 inches down. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. You're going to take one of your pocket linings. You're going to flip it over. Then you are going to measure 1 inch down. You're going to draw a line. From that line, you're going to measure 1/2 inch down and draw another line. And then you are going to draw lines 1 inch in, so you are left with this really amazing little cute box. I'm going to take our main panel, probably the back here, and I'm going to find the center from the top and measure 3 inches down. With the center found on your pocket, I'm going to line that up with the center on this, like so, and then I am going to clip it to where it won't move. Or attempt to. When we're at the machine, we are going to sew this box down because this is going to be our pocket, obviously. We will be able to sew these down because we are not turning our bag through the zipper pocket, so we don't have to worry about it. This is a bound bag, which makes it amazing. So let's kind of recap where we're at and what we're taking to the machine. We have one interior panel with our first zipper pocket. We have our exterior zipper gusset with one side waiting to be sewn, and we have our back panel. And you know what? Let's add one more to this. I think we can do one more. Let's take our front panel exterior and our main panel, line those up, and let's clip them together, so that we can just baste this together as well. So let's do that one more time. We are going to baste that together at 1/8 of an inch. Sew our zipper pocket on. We are going to do one side of our zipper pocket gusset, and then we are going to baste our top of our webbing straps, our rectangle rings, and our handle onto the back panel. So let's go to the machine and get this going. So first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and do the base stitching here. Again, it's just at 1/8 of an inch to make this easier on us. Alright, so I'm going to set that to the side. Then I'm going to work on my zipper. And then I'm going to top stitch this down. And then I'm going to set this to the side. Now I'm going to sew this box onto the main panel. So on the front panel, there's a little bit of overhang. That's okay, just clean it up. Rather it be a little too big. Okay. So front panel can be put to the side for a little while. Next, we're going to work on our pocket. The best thing to keep in mind is that you need to make cuts. So the best way to do this is just to like that, and then use scissors. I'll use these. to get up to those corners. Remember, you don't want to cut those threads. Once you're there, you're going to push this pocket through. You can use an iron. So I will use some weights to keep that flat. And set that right there. And my other zipper tape. I've got my other zipper tape. I'm going to throw on some double-sided tape, only doing one side. Throwing on the zipper. Then I'm going to pull the top off, just like this. And I'm going to lay this on nice and neat so it lays nicely. Pull my zipper through, lift this bottom up, pull the tape off, drop it back down. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. As you can see, I will have zipper to trim off, but that's fine. I'm going to sew this down at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to set this to the side for right now. Got my second zipper gusset. We're going to have to pull that top tape off. Line up my centers. Go at it again. And then we'll sew that down. Alright, so you've got your straps. You're going to go ahead and put your sliders on them. Just like this. I'm going to resend this webbing. Alright, do that for both sides. Then you're going to slide it through your rectangle ring and pull it up toward your strap. Do the same thing. Pull it up toward your strap. Give yourself a little bit of room. And then you're going to want to feed yourself some room here, okay? Because the next thing that you're doing is that you are going to take it up through the back here, just like this, maybe, possibly, and then fold it back down, like so. You're going to bring it through about 1 inch-ish. Now here you are welcome to sew that down. You can use a box, you can use rivets. The idea is you want to secure this. This can be weight bearing, so you want to make sure that it does not go anywhere. So I'm going to clip that down. Good. So there's that one. Pull over here. I'm going to do it again, give myself some room. Alright, so just in case you missed it, I'm going to take it up through the back. Alright. Then I'm going to take it down through in front of the bar. Okay. So there's the front of the bar. I'm going to go down in front of it. Just like this, about 1.5 inches or whatever you feel comfortable, and then I'm going to clip mine down. Now you're welcome again to sew this. I think I'm just going to set it with some rivets, but you can sew a box. Okay, so once you get your straps sewn on or riveted, your little backpack should, back of the backpack should look roughly like this. We are going to set that to the side for now. And I'm going to put it in this. Yes. Okay. Let's recap what we're sewing. We are going to stitch our zipper down at 1/8 of an inch all the way around and sewing our zipper gusset. So let's go ahead and do that. And stitch this on. I'm going to leave my threads long. Maybe. There we go. And then I'm going to tie it off. And then I'm going to top stitch an 1/8 of an inch. So I went ahead and I added my zipper to my zipper panel. If you want to do 2, you're more than welcome to do 2. I'm going to flip this over. I also trimmed my zipper tape down. I didn't want to sew over it again, so that's entirely up to you. I cut it down to where it's about 1/2 inch from the lining on both sides. I will be putting my second pocket, zipper pocket panel right over it, and I'm going to clip on all 4 sides. So that is now ready to go back to the machine. Once you put your zipper on, go ahead and top stitch these sides down, because then we're going to attach the other 2 gussets. Alright, so once we have this all stitched down, you're going to find that you have 2, you have a side panel and you have a bottom gusset, but ultimately they are still gussets, okay? The side panel goes along, well, the side. So what I would recommend doing on your long main panels is going ahead and finding your center notches if you haven't already done it, just to help yourself, specifically for this side panel, because this is kind of going to be your landmark. This is going to be the thing that helps us put the bag together. So once you do that, you could have put a second zipper on there. It's entirely up to you. I did just stick with one. That I may regret that later. But anyway, you're going to put them right sides together. So for one side, and then right sides together for the other. And you're going to match up the linings the same way. That one, and then there is this one. Then we are going to sew these down at 1/4 of an inch. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch the gusset down first. 1/4 of an inch. After you sew these down, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and pull these as tight as you can. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to top stitch this down. Pull that nice and tight. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here on the other side. I'm going to pull it nice and tight. Okay. And then finally, we are going to sew these right sides together, just like this. And you're going to flip it over and sew these linings right sides together. All right, almost there, guys. So we're going to do a little bit funky here. So what I want to do is I want to top stitch the panel like we did here. So on the side panel, I want to fold this seam toward the side panel, press it down really good, and then I'm going to top stitch it down. Okay, pull that out. And when you go to top stitch this down, because you want to top stitch your other thing down, you want it to go the opposite direction. So if I have this going this way, I need this seam to go this way, so it kind of looks like a little bit of a butterfly. So I've got that pressed. And you clean up your threads so you don't look like a hot mess. Flip it inside out. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to sew our lining to our gusset exterior. I had 1/8 of All right, and now that is ready to be put to the side. I'm going to go ahead and sew my pocket closed. So you've got your pocket, it's nice and closed up. So let that sit there for a second. I'm going to go ahead and grab my back panel that has the webbing. I'm going to line these up together. Okay, and I'm going to baste this panel on. But remember, you're going to have to keep moving your straps out of the way so we don't sew our main straps down. And I'm just basting at 1/8 of an inch. Alright, so this is where we are at. I have basted the back panel to the main panel with the zipper, and then I cleaned up any overhang. I've got my front panel, And then I've got my finished sewn together gusset. I've got my side lining as inside out, and it's we're ready to start putting this together. So the first thing I think we're going to do is go ahead and just get the back out of the way. I'm going to put it face down, and then I'm going to line that center mark that we made on our side panel with the center mark on the side here. And then I'm going to start clipping together. Autumn, upstairs! Once you get your back panel sewn on, you are going to base stitch it at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. After we get this base together, we are going to get our binding, and we're going to bind it up real nice. After you get it bound, I'm going to go around and sew this on at 1/4 inch. Once we get the strings all cleaned up, we can go back to the table and attach the front panel. So just like we did the back panel, we are now going to attach the front panel the exact same way. Your main landmark is going to be your side gusset or your side lining here. So I'm going to start there and just start clipping all the way around. And again, when you get to those corners, you're going to give it a slight snip and make the squares lay flat. So everything should lay nice and flat. So let's get to it. Now we're going to go around and we're going to stitch this 1/8 of an inch, just like we did the other side, bind it up and turn it out. All right, and now I'm going to clean this up a little bit with these threads and then bind it. Now I'm going to heat this up and I'm going to turn it out. I want to thank you as you sewed along with me as we made the Benny Mini Backpack. The Benny Mini Backpack, we included a handle and the 40-inch webbing straps. This is a bound bag. We included a zipper pocket on the inside. It is fully, customizable. I can't wait to see all the fun designs that Kim and Alex are going to come out with K&A Custom Fabrics. And as you're making this and posting it out in the wild, make sure you're not just tagging K&A Custom Fabrics, but you're also tagging me, your girl Nefarious, because I want to see all of your makes. If you like these videos and you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe below. So for now, ta-ta. I'll see you around.